But yeah, into the Nyx assassin makes it a little bit more difficult for sure. I'm curious what they decide to pick up here at the end of the phase of the second phase, though, right? Like you do see your carry matchup, the three or what is most likely going to be the 3-position bristleback now. Okay, I was like, maybe you just pick something for the safe lane and they grab the Undying. So a very strong lane hero being able to make a lot of space in that lane against these double melee.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for Arkosh to get that tombstone down the line. They've got 3 melee heroes, 2 melee cores. So if you get a good spot here for, say, Bloody Nine to drop that tombstone in a really nice spot, you're going to get max value from the zombies coming through. The slow is going to be annoying. You don't really want to fight too prolonged there. And it just ties in with a Puck and Mars as well. Dream Coil plus Tombstone in the back, Arena in the back to protect that Tombstone. It's not going to be easy to counteract the Undying there. Like, you still have the Nyx, you could maybe scout out the Undying. The question is whether or not the Nyx prioritizes picking off the Undying over, say, the Cockle even, over the Mars, over locking in the Puck to start the fight. So you're always going to have some choices to make there for Arkosh. DogChamp, as you mentioned, like, the Undying's also really aggressive in lane with the Soul Rip to sustain, or just playing with the Decay up front to just build up and harass out these rather melee constrained lineup from Arkosh for now. So it's a really just a strong pickup for DogChamp, and just plays around with the timings they want to meet. All of their heroes don't really need too much to start fighting. They really just need EXP, whereas for Arkosh, when you have a Bristle, when you have a Wraith King, you do need some initial farm to come true. You want the Vanguard or Hood of Defiance on your Bristle. The Wraith King more than likely looking for Armlet or Maelstrom into Radiance is what we tend to see. Maybe an SNY along the way as well or after. And that just takes more time. So Arkosh will have to slow the pace of the game back just a little bit, whereas DogChamp, they're going to look to really push their aggression out. Probably by the 15-minute mark, they'd want to really go for those towers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I actually do really like the Troll Warlord ban here. He is one of these heroes that will just fight up into the Wraith King pretty easily. It is a little weak into heroes like the Nyx Assassin, but with the amount of control that they have from the Puck and the Mars, I think it would be pretty easy for them to deal with this hero. You also just want to pick something that doesn't struggle against the or that wouldn't like really push your bristleback out of the lane, right? So the Troll Warlord, a great option. And they actually respond with the Venomancer ban, one of the only teams to be running a safe lane Veno or that they like flex as well, right? This would have most likely been an offlane Venomancer for Gremlo here, but still a very, very annoying hero that Arkosh does play a lot, and they play it pretty dang well.
Yeah, just keeps them safe, of course. With Veno being banned out, Arkosh just preventing something like the Morphling coming through, as that would leave them with no options to counteract Morphling. DogChamp has to show their last pick first, so Arkosh can really respond when it comes to that core-to-core matchup, or at least kind of cover up the gaps that they have here. Still looking for what is likely to be a mid for Canis Vulpus, unless, again, they kind of just flex that Bristle back to mid and save a Gremlo here for last. Doesn't seem likely, but is still a possibility. DogChamp looking for a safe lane to deal with a Bristle. You could maybe opt for PA. It's a bit awkward, as you will need the Ag Shard to break. But once you have that shard, you get a BKB. You don't really have a great way of dealing with the PA in this game. Like, you're going to have to go for an MKB on a Wraith King down the line, which is all right, but definitely not ideal for Wraith Kings nowadays. So it could be a good PA game if they want to go that route. Has decent enough timings. You can play aggressive in your lane. You've got some synergy with the Undying or the Keeper of Light. If you want to just spam out the Stifling Dagger in the lane, could work out as well. If you go with a Slark instead, so it's that kind of hero that just wants to whack onto those tanky frontliners. Doesn't mind a Bristleback. You build up your Agi stacks. You build up your stacks on the Wraith King as well throughout his 2 lives. Yep. You can build into a Silver Edge for yourself to have some break. So you have some answers there from DogChamp.
Yeah, this is a sick pick. Like Slark into Wraith King is such a feels-good matchup for Slark. Like, Wraith King cannot do anything. You never hit your Wraith Fire Blast. And then every time in fight, you, like, turn to Wacko, and he's just like, oh, and, you know, Shadow Dance. You know, how neat is this? And with the introduction of the Shard, Depth Shroud, you have an additional 3 seconds to play within an AoE for your team, just as, like, another form of a save mechanic against heroes like the Nyx and that Wraith King. So I actually really like the Slark pick here. I'm hoping we see some Death Shroud plays. I think that shard is pretty legit. The cooldown is rough, though. It is a long cooldown. It's like 75 seconds or something. But Arkosh, last pick here. What do you think? Mid lane, right? We've got to see a Canis Vulpus hero. None of these people seem like Canis Vulpus heroes. I don't see an Ember Spirit. I don't see a Void Spirit. We're seeing something that's got to get picked up from here. But what do you think? Because there's a lot of heroes that he plays are banned. Well, you don't get a choice.
A lot of options. They go with Necrophos. So it's looking like Gremlo Necrophos. They are going Canis Vulpus Bristleback. So it's a mid Bristle against the Puck. Not the best lane for Bristle. It's not like you're bullying out the Tiny, which Bristle just dominates. This is a bit more manageable for the Puck. But the Necrophos is a great response for the Slark. And it gives you more combinations with your Oracle. So you can opt to False Promise Bristle, opt to False Promise Wraith King, or Necrophos. All of them use that spell really nicely. You just have to worry about the Slark kind of building up the stacks from that False Promise as well. That is, again, just one of the things Slark does really nicely against high sustain is punish it. Because as the fight prolongs, Slark gets stronger. But if you get a good sight off here from Gremlo, there's nothing defensive from DogChamp to prevent that Reaper sight as well. There's no Shadow Demon. There's no natural way of imprisoning someone with, say, an OD as well. So you're always going to get the Reaper's sight off.
You giggling at the same thing I'm giggling at?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a long cast, brother. I hope we're ready for this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was told by, I think it was Goat telling me to buy the pack. I was like, nah, I don't have the money yet. I don't want to give you my money, you demons. And now he's just showing us why we probably should buy the pack. Because, I mean, it fits the team as well, right? Annie Major... You've got the anime voice line on Arkosh. Kind of works out.
That was a value add. That was a value addition to the voice lines because that is going to be the absolute most used voice line I feel like at the major. It's going to be so good.
Oh goodness. The 5-head plays from Arkosh and planning out that team bundle is just so good. And then we'll see if it plays a factor. You also have Creep with a pack as well. A bit of a backstabbing move there for Creep. Having the enemy team's pack while they're playing against them.
How could you, honestly? Good luck, RRL. I feel I'm trying to think, who
consistently from the whole season.
Oh yeah, I was saying that's just something he's always done, right?
Oh yeah, just keeps mixing up Ray Lilise with RRL for whatever reason. Keeping up the altar. Lukey's a furry.
Imagine calling someone else a furry when your teammate is a furry. I don't know. That seems kind of weird.
It is, right? Like you have literally Canis Vulpus in there.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, you guys have seen this guy's photo, right? Maybe I can't show it.
Alluring photo.
Well, he has a photo.
A very central photo. I think central is a really good word.
Very
for that
cursed. Yeah, very cursed photo. What do you think about the lanes, right?
The lanes, it feels a bit nicer for DogChamp. You've got more natural synergy, more activity to play with say, the Mars plus Keeper of the Light lane. It's just that spamming lane. You get Chakra up. You can just keep spamming out the God's Rebuke or the Spear of Mars. You've got great wave clear with Illuminate plus the God's Rebuke. So you're always able to shove that in on bot lane for DogChamp. For Arkosh, I mean, it's a Wraith King lane. You can play it aggressive if you want to. You will more than likely just be sitting back, trying to farm up as best as possible. You can maybe line up some shots with Goat or with Crow, but for now, it looks like Arkosh is opting to get some positioning up top. Not sure if they'd really want to sustain the tri-lane. With a Necrophos, you do have some decent level 1 damage. It's not amazing. Like, you can sustain yourself in the tri-lane quite nicely and trade hits favorably, but you will starve yourself of EXP there for Arkosh, so more than likely just going to look to break those lanes up and get some stability on hand, and DogChamp just have more activity to play with. Like, Necrophos is kind of passive in lane, focuses on last hits. The Bristleback mid as well kind of enjoys melee matchups more than range. You can try to punish a puck, but with range advantage, you're not really going to be able to get as much done there.
Yep, I agree. I mean, one of the things that's also like worth mentioning when it comes to heroes like Necrophos is that this hero is very item and level dependent, right? There's a reason Necrophos like cannot be played as a support. Shame. And like going into a tri-lane, if you do tri-lane and you don't, you know, heavily punish the enemy's tri-lane or the enemy's safe lane, then you're basically just sacrificing, you know, the two most needed resources on your Necrophos. So I think you're right. We're likely to just see goat head bottom with the Wraith King. Canis Vulpus on the mid lane going for an early bottle, which is just, you know, the only way to play mid lane nowadays. So that's cool. But I think he'll be fine. I mean, for the most part, he should still CS pretty easily, and I imagine he just picks up an early Hood of Defiance here.
Yeah, just get that big tanky item to help yourself out in lane. Rayleigh Lisa is not going to struggle too much. You've got added mobility as well to contest the water runes and power runes and dip in and out of lane, going for the bounty runes. So it's going to be easier for Rayleigh Lisa to top up his bottle, and he's going to have the advantage of a value on the stick into wand. Whereas for Canis Vulpus, he's just going to rely on one source. Of course, early levels for Bristle is nice. Quilt Spray is still pretty long range. Once you get a couple of stacks on, it can hurt the puck, so Rayleigh Lisa's going to have to watch his spacing there for a bit.
Nice play by Crow here, top lane, doing this typical creep drag, blocking both the hard camps, or just blocking the hard camps so they can't actually, you know, re-pull the lane there. Ooh, Luki rooted under tower though. It takes a lot. He takes like 4 tower shots there.
It's not something you want on Amoris. He's deceptively soft early on. He's got a lot of HP, but without Bulwark, you don't really trade hits all too well. You've got 2 base armor to play with, so the right clicks will pump through a little bit more than you'd expect. And for now, that does mean Pale Horse is getting a little bit more. Like, Yaren's got the Illuminate to snipe out the range creeps. Doesn't even manage to get that in this wave. It's going to take some levels here for DogChamp to really be aggressive, and that's something Arkosh needs to maximize. While that aggression's not up, they need to find as much farm as possible.
Yeah, B9 is doing a really good job at applying pressure right now on the Necrophos. This is one of the things, like, you pick this Undying thinking you're dealing with, you know, most likely Bristleback in the top lane just because he's such a strong lane hero. And they respond with Necrophos, which, you know, does do fairly well, has a lot of sustain, but if he can't get to the creep wave, his sustain is gone, right? Like, he has to CS to keep his sustain.
Yeah, he's just going to focus in to hammer, to just get to his last hits. He's not going to look to really trade. It's mainly down to Crow to disrupt that lane, and as you mentioned, he's been going for the pulls. He's been trying to prevent the pulls as well from DogChamp. And in a very passive lane, Undying just doesn't feel great. You spam out the K, you kind of just don't do enough. You'd ideally just want to look for more aggressive posturing, especially with a Slark. But they can't really find that opening. And Bloody Nine, you know, he's got 1 clarity left, but that does mean he doesn't have as much decay spam left. At this point, you just want to soak your level 2 on the Undying, get your Soul Rip up, and just kind of play the sustain game, look for constant pulls, maybe look to contest some runes down the line. But again, Crow is just doing a good job at cutting off this Undying. He's just not doing anything in this lane.
Yeah. Speaking of doing a good job, I'm not sure if you've noticed Canis Vulpus in the CS game right now, but he is 21 and 6, and he has pushed Rayleigh Lisa completely off the lane. Like, he won't even be able to go get this bounty rune now. Like, Canis Vulpus, if he wants to, can just go take it, forcing Rayleigh Lisa to go back to base. He does have 10 wand charges, and his bottle is coming out. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Canis Vulpus goes, takes his bounty. Why not? Top lane? This might be first blood. Undying falling incredibly low. Does get a nice soul rip, though. Will top himself off and gets level 2 in the process. Or not soul rip, sorry, I got decay. But now he has soul rip, so there's no way he's dying.
Yeah, so just on the edge. Stalling out the first blood's kind of nice for DogChamp. They need that quick injection of gold. I think going back to the mid lane, this is not something you usually expect for the puck. Like, you want to play with a range advantage, but I guess Quilt Spray's range is actually ridiculous now. It kind of matches up against the puck's attack range, and you're not really able to leverage your magic wand as much. Puck is also sort of squishy and susceptible to that physical damage. You only have 2 armor. You don't want to go for range protection, so you are just exposed. And Crow finds it.
Wait, they're dying everywhere. Yeah, so apparently Crow dives Undying into the top lane, gets the kill, and then meanwhile bottom, Luki and Yarn are able to take down Pale Horse. Okay, well, I mean, I did not really expect Wraith King to go down in this lane. I feel like that would have had to have been some unfortunate positioning by him.
Yeah, it's down to that. Maybe he cops a couple of Illuminates. With level 3 up in Yaren, you've got the Chakra spam in, so you can just spam the Spears, spam the God's Rebuke. Really lots of burst on hand. Goat, all his spells are level 1. You could maybe dodge some of that magic damage with Edict, but that would also stall out your right clicks on Raid King if you don't time it right, so it takes a lot of coordination playing on the edge while you're at the creep wave to save your Raid King there. And Pale Horse without one death isn't going to feel good. He's very far behind in terms of CS here already.
Yeah.
12-2 compared to Creep at 20-8. A much freer lane for DogChamp up top compared to bot lane for Arkosh.
Yeah. Ooh, a nice 2-man Impale actually in the top lane there. Very sick. But this is the thing that's so interesting about this is a first phased Mars, and he is more than doubling Pale Horse's CS on the Mars. Top lane, though, they are going to look for a Keeper of the Light, and this should be a kill with the boys. Goat is the one who ends up picking it up. Unfortunate there for Pale Horse. He obviously would have liked to grab that last hit, but any kill is better than nothing.
Yeah, you're still pretty happy about it. Stabilizes the lane. It takes out one piece of the equation here from DogChamp. Pale Horse gets a little bit of space to just build up his farm. Hasn't queued anything major up yet, just going for the phase boots, which is typical for the Raid King. We'll have to see if he feels like going for a Radiance Rush. After this kind of slow start, the Radiance could be a bit too stalled out, so now the timings of that into a Slark who just goes for, say, Diffusal or SNY might not be favorable for you if that aggression builds in.
Gremlo is really far forward in the top lane, and Impale does come out, ends up keeping Gremlo alive as B9 now falling low. He's he's just 2-0-2, so there's no ooh, what's going on mid lane? I hear a haste. He's just gonna force Ray Lisa to TP home. Canis Vulpus doing some work there and just cuts the wave. Yeah, he's playing this Bristleback very aggressive.
Yeah, this is gonna be an issue. Like, the Slark can kind of deal with a Bristle, but Creep's not nearly like ahead enough to kind of deal with the power spikes you're going to see on Canis Vulpus. In fact, he's just being chased around his tree line right now.
Yeah. Man, these raindrops have been super valuable, but that was the last one right there as it got consumed. So he will need to send out another stack here sometime because I don't think he's going to level 6 in early enough.
Nah, it's going to be a bit more time for him, so he's going to have to play. Ooh.
He actually, okay, he was just baiting with the Soul Rip anyway.
Just playing on the edge, which is what you want to see when with Undying. You want to stay as on the edge as possible, get some bait plays. Again, you don't really have the best follow-up in the Slark, can still work out, but considering that levels are up for Arkosh, time to be a bit more defensive there. You managed to find Pale Horse again, though.
Arena immediately into the kill. He hits level 6 on Mars, which this was inevitable, right? Like, Raid King is not going to be able to keep up with Luki as far as experience goes. In top lane, they just dive Slark. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bottom lane, Goat, though, speared into his own tower, but Yarn actually didn't have the mana to follow this up. They do rotate Rayla Lisa up to the top lane, though. Coil does come out Undying, TPing in. Should be a kill here on... Yep, they do, with a nice sword, taking down Gremlo. And Crow's just gonna walk away.
It's a great kill for Real Least to find. You definitely needed some space out in the puck. You are giving a lot of free space to Canis Vulpus. I'm not sure if this is worthwhile for DogChamp, as Bristle, if you meet this Vanguard timing into the Hood of Defiance, into Aghanims, you become ridiculous. Like, just AoE, nasal goo all over, minus armor for days. You can really just melt any goo down.
Really, Lisa? Oh, they actually misses the Impale there on Crow. He's falling incredibly low on Ray Lisa, but will be able to make it away. Yara not going to be as lucky. A nice 3-man rotation to the mid lane. And this is going to help them secure the tower as well. Canis Vulpus finished up that Vanguard. And as a result, you're not going to be able to stop this tower push. E9 might pay for this one with his life. Going for the deny here. The good old spray says run. There's your Impale. Canis Vulpus, this arcane rune, but he put to super strong use. A couple more auto attacks and a one more coil spray grabs him a second kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's a really free lane for the Bristleback here. Canis Vulpus 2-0, 17-9 in terms of last hits, top of the network board by a pretty big amount at this point, around 1.4k of a gold lead. It's just a huge spike for Bristle, and it looks like he will be opting for a Hood of Defiance next, which just, again, boosts his durability up. It'll take a while for your Slark to be comfy up against that. The Diffusal coming out from Creep is going to help the cause, but he's not quite close to it yet, so you're going to have to stall the game out a bit more. The good news here for DogChamp is that while the Bristleback's farmed up, it's only the Bristleback. Like, you're getting some decent farm on Gremlo, but Pale Horse is lagging a bit behind, but not by much. You kind of want to widen that gap, get some more space out here for Creep, and keep harassing out this Raid King. Like, Pale Horse went for a greedier level build, didn't opt for Reincarnation. That should be something DogChamp looks to punish, but they're just not quite set up to really get those early rotations out yet.
I'm curious if they're gonna try and bail on this top lane, honestly, as DogChamp. Like, I don't know how long they can keep this. Gremlo, now level 7, is very strong. They actually rotate Yarn up here, so it does kind of indicate that they have no intention of giving up this tower now.
I think they want to hold on to as many towers as possible. After losing their mid, their map just feels so much smaller. Once they lose that top tower, the jungle opens up in a really big way. You have to watch for those level spikes, though. Crow's just waiting around here.
Yeah, I mean, with Pale Horse up here, they've got the boys. Actually, only 2 boys. But there is a catapult coming in soon. Just trying to take this up. And now with Canis Vulpes rotating up here, they are just going to go ahead and try and dive the tower. The Tombstone does come out. Nice Impale does catch Yarn. The Reaper Scythe finishes off that Undying, and Canis Vulpes, he's just gonna take down the Tombstone and then turn his attention back onto the rest of the team. But a spear comes out with Creep. They're able to take down that Nyx Assassin. Luki stunned up by the Wraithfire Blast. Couple more auto attacks. They will be able to finish him off. So far, a big win for Arkosh here in the top lane, and they're chasing after Creep. Does have Shadow Dance though, so you shouldn't have any issues at all.
Yeah, and take that tower. They open up the jungle. Canis just saying King Canis, as he is really popping off in that Bristle. He's got the Hood of Defiance Vanguard up at 11.5 minutes, really quick on those 2 items, into the Ags. And it's just scary when you see these timings on a Bristleback. When the Ags comes through, when you can just keep spamming the goo up, get yourself to max Warpath really quick, and you even have this Fairies Trinket to play with. The 5% mana cost reduction on Bristle is huge. It just sustains your spell spam so much more. You couldn't ask for anything better here for Canis Vulpes.
Yeah, it really is. And the thing is like, you very rarely do you ever see like hero, like getting to 5k net worth by 10 minutes is like usually this like pretty sick goal to get to. Canis Vulpes had it at just over 9, and we're now, you know, getting to this point where he's, you know, approaching an Aghanim Scepter here with 2 complete items. Oh, what a sick setup by Crow. Ooh. They just snipe Ray Lalisa. That was a nice bait.
You just can't stick to Storm. You banned it. What do you mean, Canis Vulpes? You banned the Storm. How can you play it?
That's the joke. You get it? That's their joke. They're like, you know, you don't got anything if you don't have Storm. That's what Canis is getting at here. This man's so toxic.
Oh yeah. Oh, he definitely is. I mean, it boils down to that picture, you know. It boils down to his interests. Not judging, but it's a very niche interest, to say it to the least. But what's not niche is his movement here. He's just all over the place, and now Yaren.
They're actually going on Gremlo top lane as well as we speak. Looks like nothing that they can do as False Promise does come in. Gremlo can kind of just stand up, gets a salve as well from Goat, the classic, and he's gonna be coming out here full. Yeah, there it is. Ooh, dug up a bounty rune.
Perfect. Lots of value in that shovel. Very nice for Lisa. It's still a bit awkward for DogChamp. 9-4, only a 1k lead for Arkosh, so it's not massive. That's still mainly riding on Canis Vulpes. But the rest of the cores from Arkosh aren't really lagging too far behind, except for Pale Horse. He's the big exception. They're trying to buy space for the Raid King. He's just farming bot lane, still saving up for the Radiance. Looks like he should be able to get it sub 20, maybe around 16.5 minutes for the Radiance here, which is still decent considering how his lane went out. And the big spikes for DogChamp, on the other hand, is this Diffusal for Creep. It'll help him fight through the Bristleback, but you're not going to have durability up front, which is the real worry. Can you burn through the Bristleback's mana fast enough before taking too many Quilt Sprays and too many vicious nasal goo up where you're softened up?
Canis is such an issue right now. They just have, there's no answer for this guy. I mean, even if you drop the arena, what you're just gonna turn on him, right? Oh, you missed the spear. The man's got a haste rune, Lukey. You're not gonna find him, and then jump on Puck on the backside. Lisa will phase shift out of this, but Cadis, the haste about to expire. Gremlo, we're looking for a Reaper Scythe target, will just settle for Yaren on the Keeper of the Light. And Creep, he's gonna come in here and try and do what he can. Shadow Dance does come out. A great two-man impale, though. And no damage is being done. Backside of the fight, though, Coil comes out. Never mind, they take down Canis. Overextension of the Sentry here. Creep does go down to Gremlo, and Pale Horse rotating on in. Able to just get sniped. There ends up being a 4-for-1.
Ooh, that's a big one. Dropping Creep there is not ideal. You do manage to get the Bristle, but losing 4 heroes in exchange means it's still a net loss there for DogChamp. Huge win for Arkosh coming through. Maybe a bit keen on Canis Vulpus standing all the way forward there. Running out of mana, not really having the durability yet, or not enough HP yet to really tank through all of those hits. But DogChamp forced the issue. They miss a lot of spells, and now that's just going to open more aggression out from Arkosh.
Another jump on the bottom lane. Luke, he kills himself on a Spike Carapace. Oh no. Rayla Lisa, as well as B9, TP down in though. I don't think they got the damage here. It's time to leave. Gremlo, also incredibly tanky. The Hood of Defiance, another Spike Carapace set up into a stun. They're gonna snipe him. Goat with the 4 points and the Purifying Flames. Now on a dominating spree. He's gonna clap Undying as well. Just a few more auto attacks. They just need the vision. They can chase him down the tombstone. It falls. They drop a ward up on the high ground, and Goat inevitable. Oh, Crow gets a stun onto Yarn as well. There's no escaping. Sentries dropped. Give this man the triple kill. Can he do it? He does. Oracle. What a madman. Nyx Assassin punished finally by Lukey. He comes back to the bottom lane, but this was a costly engagement once again for DogChamp.
They just kind of stream in one by one there. They lose their Puck, the Undying dies, there are no TPs coming in. Lukey comes back in, it's a bit too late to really have that impact. They lose their bot tier 1, that's all tier 1 towers gone for DogChamp. The map's completely open for Arkosh to invade. They've bought a lot of space out for Pale Horse to keep playing this catch-up game. Radiant's going to be up in about a minute or a minute and a half. That's going to be a really good timing for them to meet. You can start to apply pressure on that Slark. He's going to have to find a solution to that burn somehow. Not really going for the stat build here for Creep as well. No SNY. Just full on Echo, and they might go into the high ground here, though.
They're going to try. I mean, Canis Vulpus does not care. Gremlo doesn't actually catch on the spear. Creep go over the backside. He gets the false promise off Coil. Onto the Reaper Scythe, onto the Slark. Creep gets the Shadow Dance off. Some miscommunications on Arkosh in this fight. They can't target. And now they need to back a Tombstone on the high ground. Worst case scenario, Gremlo hobbling away. But I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. B9 will be able to beat him down with the help of Rayla Lisa, and Creep still trying to work onto Canis Vulpus, but it looks like he should be able to just walk it out. Rayla Lisa catches another. They lose the Bristleback. Easy, says B9.
That's really bad for Arkosh, because the hero kills you can kind of live with. You kind of play it messily, you miss some of your spells, you don't get the Reaper Sight off in a good point, but losing the Courier is pretty big. That's going to stall out the Ags here for Canis Vulpus by 2 minutes. And that's a major power spike for him. Without that, you've got 2 dead items sitting in the backpack. You're not going to be as tanky. You're not going to have that spell spam for the Warpath. And it's going to be a lot easier for DogChamp to clean up. Take that mid tier 1. Pale Horse is sort of around to defend. He's got the Radiance up. They could look to be aggressive, but with the numbers down, they're going to have to just wait for the respawns a bit. They lose some of that lead here. Arkosh drops down to 3k. DogChamp, they've managed to reel in some of that network back their way. And you're seeing some of that impact of the Slark. The big thing there was, if you manage to spear out Canis Vulpus, that forces his front out. So he's not getting Bristle back while he's speared. And that just drops his durability by a huge amount. So there's a lot of pressure on Lukey to keep landing those spear shots in. But Arkosh, after that big team fight, they sense an opportunity for the Roche.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to note, Canis Vulpus, his Courier died with his Aghanim Scepter on, so he's not going to have it for this fight. In the Arena, the Spirit comes out onto Gremlo, being kept alive thanks to the Oracle. But Creep caught by a stun on the backside. He doesn't get anything off. He's the first to fall. B9 on the run. Tombstone down. He gives up his life, but now Puck in a terrible spot does get the jaunt up onto the high ground, trying to disengage, but Canis Vulpus nearby. He just wants the Roche on.
It's a nice little win for Arkosh. Ooh, side.
Well, never mind. Crow claims a life there. Shame.
Oh, never ends. It never ends from the Arkosh, guys. But the Roshan's going to be big. They're going to have an additional life out for either Canis Vulpus or Pale Horse. Combine that with False Promise. If it's on a timely caster from Goat, you've got 2 lives potentially coming through for the Bristleback and 3-4 lives for Pale Horse. So a lot of options here. Do hand it over to Canis Vulpus. They've stalled out long enough that the Courier is going to respawn. So the Ags is going to be in for Canis, and that does mean that it's going to be able to just spam that nasal goo out. It is going to be hellish for DogChamp to stand and fight. Like, they just are not itemized yet to deal with the tankiness of Arkosh. Like, the Slark on paper does do it, but he needs a lot to really get that done. He's saving up for the BKB next, already has the Echo Saber, can't really go for the Silver Edge. It doesn't feel like it's even the Bristleback that's causing issues. It's just everything else on top. The fact that the Wraith Kings bounce back and farm. All 3 cores of Arkosh now on top compared to DogChamp. They didn't quite play fast enough, and now they've got to defend their mid-tier 2.
Ooh, Coil, it only catches Gremlo, actually, and another great setup here coming in from Crow on the next assassin using the Spike Carapace. Forcing Releasa out, but he does end up dying in the end. Gremlo, he doesn't have anything left. He's just stuck underneath so much damage, but a False Promise going to keep him alive, and now in come the cores from Arkosh. They know they need to get this tombstone down. It's doing so much work. The Spear does send him back. Releasa on the backside trying to snipe Gremlo, but he doesn't have the damage alone. Too many stacks from this nasal goo.
Just really painful when you don't manage to land the spear onto Canis Vulpus. Like, the arena didn't clip him, so he couldn't get speared up. And that just meant that he was just casting the goo throughout that entire fight. You only find the Nyx. You don't manage to take out the Aegis. So there's an opportunity for DogChamp to go back in. They don't really have long cooldowns to wait for. Like, Reaper's Sight's there, but it doesn't feel like it's essential yet for Arkosh. They could play without it. We've got Reincarnation up. For DogChamp, you know, they lose the arena, which is a bit short. Dream Coil's going to be up soon at very least, so they have some options, and they're going to get chased here, though.
Ooh. Mules into Spear. Oh, he actually catches him with the Impale. Unbelievable. And now Canis Vulpus is going to turn it on, start stacking these up, looking over the TP out. Not going to happen. A Yules and a Wraithfire Blast just for good measure. And that Mars goes down. Another big pick-off here for the side of Arkosh. I mean, they did make that one blunder in the fight, John, but their momentum still seems to be right where it was.
Definitely. I think even if you kill the Bristleback at this point, Arkosh could easily shift their win condition towards a Wraith King. Like, you've done your job on Canis Vulpus. He's still tanky up front. He's still doing a lot of work on the Bristle. We've seen some of the shortcomings, but because DogChamp are so focused on the Bristleback, they can't focus on Pale Horse, who's already catching up to farm, who's at level 16. Once he hits his level 18 spike with a lower cooldown Reincarnation, how long it takes for them to find kills in DogChamp, you can bet that you're probably not even going to kill off Pale Horse at all. So focusing on the Bristle this much is going to hurt the side of DogChamp if they don't find answers for everyone else.
All right, they took tier 2 top, now working on tier 2 mid. Again, Canis Vulpus able to just do this for quite a while. He does have the Eternal Shroud now, which does help out with some of his mana issues, right? Like, he can, if he sees Yaren channeling the Illuminate, he just go stand in it. Says, thank you, sir. Oh, does get speared up, but purged and saved by Goat here for them. Pops that Eternal Shroud, gonna try and steal as much life back from this lifesteal. Does have Aegis, so his team could try and help, but meanwhile, top lane, Gremlo takes down the Puck. He's not gonna be here for this fight. It's gonna be the False Promise from Goat that's gotta save Canis, but can he make it in time? They know they're zoning him out. He's got to try and make it. He makes it just barely. Canis Vulpus, he's going to come out of this one with a lot of health. And now the rest of Arkosh is here to fight as Luki and Yaren falling incredibly low. Burned down by the Radiance. Double kill for Canis.
Oh man, it's the spooky lineup as well. I didn't even realize. You've got zombies versus skeletons here from both sides. The side of DogChamp, the one big thing that didn't line up was that after the Aegis, they got the arena off. They did not spear Canis Vulpus. So his back was still working. They couldn't force him to face towards a front direction. And he just got all the spell uses. Good comes in with a false promise. They couldn't deal with it. And DogChamp, well, their high ground's just gonna fall. Tier 3 mid, Rack's gonna be opened up. They could look to swing towards top lane if they want to. DogChamp, they're not gonna have arena until the respawn. Even then, it's gonna be stalled out for a few seconds here.
Well, they're just gonna go ahead and drop the coil. I mean, Creep's trying to wrap around on the backside, does have this Echo Saber Diffusal, but I feel like he just dies incredibly fast under the damage here from Arkosh. They are going to be able to pop Wraith King. Reincarnation going to bring him back, but B9, he just dies. Some frame loss here thanks to the amount of crap happening on the screen too. The servers just can't handle it, but they take down 2. You get the Reincarnation, but I imagine they just go top, right? What stops them?
I don't know. Like, the one unfortunate thing is that Reincarnation was popped before they managed to level it up to level 3. So it's a bit of a longer cooldown. You could maybe play it safe for Arkosh. They're going to measure it back, maybe wait for Reincarnation. No rush. They've got an 11k lead, 28-12. It's down to DogChamp to really punish their D-clump right now. But again, you just don't have your full roster. It's only really Creep up front. Rayla Lisa's still trying to save up for the blink. Has Akai Sanj and Witchblade, which nice on the puck. But you might even want to consider Yags down line to counteract potential BKBs from Arkosh down line. It just feels like the control's not lining up. You need something else to handle the Bristle outside of Arena, and an upgraded Dream Coil could do the job quite nicely down line.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of big item pickups, Gremlo is about to pick up this Aghanim Scepter. There's going to be the Spike Carapace set up onto Yaren and just melted. He says.
Shame.
So much shame.
Yeah, they're just laying in right now. Arkosh feeling very confident. And we kind of mentioned this, but Oh, Canis, stop!
They're already down, man. Stop kicking them.
Oh, goodness. But Arkosh, I mean, they've got reason to feel confident here. They're just shoving in mid. They're going to go towards top now. Reincarnation is going to be back up in a few seconds. They've got the Ag Shard on Pale Horse, so even with the Diffusal up on your Slurp, you'll always have a Reincarnation ready on Pale Horse. You're not going to take away that second life. It's going to be really tough for DogChamp in defense, and you have to get here in time.
Yeah, nothing like seeing more skeletons spawned on top of all the zombies that are already on screen. Just all the things that the Dota servers love to see. Takes me back to the PL Terrorblade days.
Oh god. Those were nightmare days for Reflection.
Oh, backside of the fight, Creep finds Goat. They do get the spear onto the Wraith King, but like you said, he's got Reincarnation. They're not worried about this guy losing his first life, and there's going to be the Reaper sight. They take down 2, buyback on Yaren. They take down Wraith King. He's going to be coming right back to life, and now B9's got to be careful. Creep protected by the BKBs, beating into Canis Vulpus. Beach just got his back turned. He doesn't care. 3 heroes already fallen. The buyback comes in again from Elisa, and the damage from Canis. This man, he's hitting so dang hard. Rayla Lisa cannot escape. Triple kill. The GGs come out. Arkosh Gaming take game 1 so fast in just 27 minutes.
That was just insane. Like, really quick coming out from Arkosh. They bring out the Bristle back mid, which, again, I didn't expect it to win out over the Puck in that big of a way. It does kind of make sense. Puck only has 2 armor to start with. The range of Puck's attack is kind of within the zone of Quilt Spray if you're aggressive in your posturing. Canis Vulpus just catching Rayla Lisa way off guard. They could not meet the timings you'd want on the Puck there, and he just took over way too quick. DogChamp as well, they ran this aggressive dual lanes with the Mars plus Keeper of Light. They couldn't really get as much aggression as they'd want with the Chakra Magic spam. Bloody Nine and the Undying couldn't do much for his Slark there as well. Like, it's super passive. Gremlo just did what he had to do on Necro. Stand back, get some last hits, regen back up, which meant that with no aggressive posturing from Arkosh, there was no opportunities to maximize the Undying. So I think some of it's a draft issue. We'll have to see if DogChamp shake it up. But Arkosh, those demons are looking spicy here, Ricky.
Yeah, very. I'm not sure if you noticed Goat's score on this, but Oracle's 10-1-16 in this game. So Goat living up to his name here. This guy absolutely crushed it. I mean, you just had a blast working, just sitting behind Canis, Vulpes, and Gremlo in this game. And he had some great saves as well. But yeah, watching this Bristleback get 5K net worth at just over 9 minutes, I'm like, I don't know how you stop this at this point. Like the whole snowball rolling down the hill analogy doesn't even come close to describing what this Bristleback became. But yeah, Arkosh, a pretty swift game number one. Like you said, I think some of this comes down to the draft, so we'll see what happens in game number two. But we're going to throw into a quick break. Before we do, though, I just want to let you all know we do have a very nice sponsor for this here tournament. It's called XPG. All right. So if you guys don't know, definitely go check them out. Powered for Gaming Lifestyle with an XPG Xenia XE Gaming Lifestyle Ultrabook. It's perfect for both work and play. Big fan of that computer. We talk about all the time what we would like to do if we had one. So I'm going to hear from you, John. What would be your go-to experience with this laptop?
I'd just be playing games on high refresh. That's all I'd gun for. You know, it's the dream. A mobility on hand, good cooling, and high performance. What more could you ask for?
Not much. I honestly, I can't. I don't know. Maybe two of them instead of just one. That's probably about it. A second laptop. Well, that being said, we'll be back with game number two after just a short break, everyone. We'll see you after the break.